Hey guys, welcome to another video from the PC Broker. In today's video, I wanted to go over a tutorial on a question that I get probably on a weekly basis. I always get the question, hey, I got a few PCs in my garage, I haven't turned them on in years, I forgot the password, maybe they don't boot up anymore, they boot to like a recovery screen. How do I get the data off of it? And in today's video, I wanted to go over that, how you can easily recover data and you don't even need to know the password, and it doesn't even matter if the computer is booting to a recovery screen or has a damaged operating system. So the first thing you're going to need is two things. You're going to need one, a blank USB drive that's probably at least 8 gigabytes or more, and the second thing you're going to need is an external SSD or an external hard drive, just something with a lot of space so you can dump all your data from your old computer onto that drive. And once you got those two things, we're basically going to do this in two steps. We're going to make the USB drive that's going to allow us to boot into Linux, and the second thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to go into Linux and recover your data. So here we're on my test machine desktop, and I'm going to go to the Linux Mint website. Now I'm using Linux Mint. You can use anything you want. I like Linux Mint because it's one of the more simpler Linux operating systems. So you just click on Linux Mint homepage, and right there you'll see a download link. Just click on that, and I usually just go with the most popular one, which is the Cinnamon edition. So download that, and you'll see a bunch of different download locations. Just pick one that's close to you. I pick one in the US because that's where I am, but if you're in Canada or a specific part of the world, now this is going to take a little bit if you have a slower internet connection. It's about almost 3 gigabytes in size. While you're downloading that, what you want to do is open up another tab and download a tool called Rufus. I don't remember the web address, so I just googled it, and there you go. That's Rufus. Create a bootable USB drive, and you're just going to find the download link here and download that. So once the download is done for Linux, we can put this on a USB drive. Okay, so Rufus is done downloading and Linux Mint is just about done. What you're going to want to do is go to your downloads and open up the Rufus tool, and make sure you have the USB drive inserted, and make sure there's no data on the USB drive because it will format the drive and it's going to delete everything that was on there. So I just plugged in my drive. I'm just going to rewrite it over my existing Linux drive. So I always like to get the latest version anyway. So I'm just showing you there. You could check the drive just by going to the properties. I think mine's a 16 gigabyte drive. So just go to downloads and run that Rufus tool. This tool is very simple. The first thing you're going to do is select your USB drive. Then the second spot, you're going to select the Linux Mint ISO file. And that should all be in your downloads. And that's it. You don't really need to do anything else. You're just going to click on Start. And basically what this is going to do is this is going to put Linux Mint on the USB drive in a fashion that it's bootable. So when you put it into your old PC, you'll be able to boot right into Linux Mint using that USB thumb drive. And so that takes a little bit, and I just have a screenshot to show you. When you're done, this is what it should look like. It'll say ready, and you'll be good to go. So now I'm going to jump over to how we're going to boot into Linux. And so I'm assuming that your desktop or your laptop is still in working condition, still turns on, you still see something come up on the screen. Doesn't necessarily need to boot into Windows, but you need to make sure that it actually works. So if that's the case, what you want to do is put your USB drive into that laptop or desktop, and then what we're going to do is attempt to boot off of that USB drive. Now, I'm on a Dell, so what I do is on the Dell, you just hit the F12 key to get to the. Let me just pause it here. To get to the to get to the boot menu, and this boot menu allows you to boot from anything other than the original hard drive. So you could boot off of a USB drive or other hard drives or storage devices that you have in your computer. Now, it's not F12 on every computer. On HP, for example, I believe it's F9, and with other vendors. And if you're not sure, you could just Google what the boot menu is for that particular manufacturer, and you should easily be able to get a result that shows you what key it is. It's one of the F keys in most cases, and you could also try it multiple times. But basically, what you want to do is you want to get to the boot menu before it attempts to boot off of your hard drive. So, so what I'm doing is I'm selecting the UEFI version of, because that's what the newest Linux Mint is set as a UEFI USB boot drive. So probably takes about a minute or so, but right now it's going to boot right into the Linux Mint desktop. Just skip it. So here we go. We're at the Linux Mint desktop, and I'm just going to pause it here for a sec, and you'll see everything looks very similar to Windows. There's a button here that allows you to get to the menu. There's a file manager, a file explorer here, and it has basically everything you're going to need to get your files off of this computer. So right now I'm booting into, I think I had my test machine that I booted into, and for this specific purpose I dropped a file of photos, folder of photos on there, and a text file on the desktop to verify that the files are still there and that I'm able to copy them over using Linux. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your old drive, and this drive will probably be different names. But what you're looking for is that it's a drive that has a Windows installation. So you'll see it'll have a Windows folder, it'll have everything that you're probably familiar with on your old computer, program files and all that stuff. That's what you're looking for. So once you see that, almost all of the data is going to be inside the user's folder, unless you specifically put stuff outside of there. Now, if you want to make a backup of this entire drive, you can do that just by copying all of the folders in the main directory. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to go into the users directory and look for my files. So you'll see I'm going into the users folder, and I had my users called user, and I'm going to go into the pictures folder to see if my pictures are there. And there's my folder, Joshua Tree. And in Linux, you can even view the photos. You can go through them just like you would on Windows. You can open them up, make sure they're opening. But I'm not sure if you noticed this, but I didn't get any permissions. I didn't get any user error or anything like that. Why is that? That's because Linux doesn't really follow the Windows permissions. So if I was to plug my old hard drive into another Windows computer, it would say that I need administrative access and all that. And that's what I like about recovering data on Linux, is because it's kind of bypassing all of that. You don't have to have a login. It's not going to have to change all of the permissions for all the folders. So you can basically go right in, make a copy of all your stuff, and what is exactly what I'm doing here. So I'm just checking a few of the photos, making sure everything's good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug my external SSD into this computer so that I can copy the files over. So once you plug it in, you should see it on the left side there. It'll show up, like mine shows up as storage. And then you could just move these so that they're side by side. And I'm creating a new folder here. I'm just calling it backup old PC. So you just put them side by side. So if you're copying multiple stuff over, you could at least have a clean, organized setup. Then now I'm going back to my desktop to see if my file is still there on my desktop. So there's one of my text documents I had on there. So that's it, guys. It's as easy as that to copy all of your photos and files and everything from your old computer. The only time when this is not possible is if you had an encrypted drive and it was encrypted using BitLocker or some sort of data encryption method. In those cases, you'd probably be out of luck. But most old computers don't really have any encryption going on. Even if there's a password, that doesn't really matter because the drive itself is not encrypted. So you can go into pretty much any old computer and grab the files off of it. So guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you can get all the data off of your old equipment before it's too late, and that'll allow you to kind of do some house cleaning and get rid of some of those old computers and trash them and have everything on a nice, neat hard drive. And I hope this helps you, help some family and friends out. If they need to get some stuff off of their old computer, and you can help them by showing them this video or just watching this video, and you get kind of enough expertise to do it yourself. That's an awesome thing. And definitely like this video and subscribe if you wanted to see some more videos like this. Alright, thanks guys.